Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're welcome along to the pre-Donegal International Rally event for 2023, being hosted by Ronhill Rallying, and we know it's all in aid of a very good cause, the Letterkenny Community Childcare Centre, who are currently experiencing problems with Micah, and are now on a stage and a plan where they need to raise some funds to try and move forward in the future for the 100 plus children that are there, and the massive waiting list that they also have as well. But Ronan will be able to tell us more. That's Ronan Hilferty, team manager of Ronhill Rallying and owner of Ronhill. He'll be telling us a wee bit more about the good cause tonight that we were raising money for today. We did, of course, have a fantastic few hours outside. We had a great crowd who joined us in the sun. I did say earlier in a pre-event video that the rain would stay away, and thankfully it did, and everybody seemed to have a good time. And we really appreciate those who give up their time to bring their rally cars here today outside. The likes of Kevin Bradley, John O'Donnell, Mark has his escort out there. There's a few more cars that joined us too, the likes of Gary Cooney, and we also had one of the most historic rally cars ever in the history of the Donegal International Rally, and that of course was the Subaru S12B, which was driven by our three-time winner, the King of the Hills, Manus Kelly, and Donald Barrett, and that car was here today. So we thank Donegal Kelly for letting us have the car for a few hours, and as always, it brought huge attention when it came through the gates here at St. Eunan's GA Club and made its way over to the corner. But we had a great afternoon. The kids were happy. There was a lot of parents happy as well, and we started the day very brightly indeed. But at this stage of the evening, we're going to try and not keep it too serious and bore you. We've got the discussion and the pre-rally event. We all know, of course, what Donegal means to everybody in this room. We all know that no matter what, it's the best rally in Ireland, it's the best rally in Europe, and for many it's the best rally in the world as well. And we've got a number of very talented people in the room to tell us what makes Donegal so special and how they are going to go about tackling this year's event. We've got the likes of Callum Devine, who's seen as one of the hot favourites, former winner Gary Jennings and Rory Kennedy. Gary's won it twice, Rory's won it 4 times. James Cullen is here, a man of great knowledge and experience in Donegal, 2-time winner. And we've got Eugene Donnelly, who's made the trek in to join us as well. 3-time winner Eugene Donnelly back in 04, 05 and 08 is also going to tell us about his experiences in Donegal. And also, is just liking to an R5 rally car, which will be hotly debated later on. John O'Donnell's going to join the panel as well. They are all to come, but the first man up, he's literally off a plane, and he's arrived here today. He's come the whole way from Scotland. He's a 2-time winner of the National Rally, and that is David Bogey. So, David, if you'd like to come up top here and join us. Always good to have David. David, just reach for one of those mics there on the table. We seem very far away, don't we? I think it's all to do with the advertising, you see. Listen, congratulations to you and the wife, first of all. I know you're having a bit of quality time, so the best of luck over the next couple of months. But before that, you're going to be sitting in a rally car next week. You're here quite early, so you are. So you're planning a big assault in Donegal, are you?
Yeah, I guess so. It's the same every year. But no, it's nice to come across a little bit earlier. For us, it's as much a holiday as a rally. So yeah, we're really looking forward to it this year. We're going to hopefully get in a good pace. And yeah, as I say, looking forward to the challenge. You've
got the Escort, which has been rebuilt, new engine, every bit that's new. So it is for Donegal. So obviously you have a big plan.
Yeah, well, it's actually a new car, a new Escort that we used on the Tour of the Sperrins and the Jim Clark. So unfortunately, in both events, we had problems, but no, we're quietly hopeful now that the car's sorted and it'll perform well next weekend.
What is it that has such a love affair with you, a man from Scotland across the water that has to come here every year to take part in Donegal? Because obviously the locals love it, but there's a lot of men away from Donegal love it as well.
Yeah, it's the highlight of the year, without doubt. I first came across the rally to spectate in 2007 when Sebastian Loeb was doing the rally, and ever since then, I've loved the rally, and it's always on the calendar. So, fantastic event, made to feel very, very welcome here. Not just me, my family, and everybody that comes with us. It's a fantastic welcome, and I think that's one of the things that really makes it stand out.
What about the stages? What's your favourite in Donegal? What do you like to take on the most? What are you looking forward to the most?
it's so difficult to pick a favourite because, you know, all the stages offer something, but I think, you know, High Glen's probably my favourite. You know, it's been a stage in the past where we've had good pace, so yeah, I think High Glen would be the one for me.
And obviously there's a lot of contention and boys that can win this two-wheel drive category that's now known. You won the class when it was the national on 2 occasions. Is this escort of yours good enough to beat the likes of the couple of men ahead of you that's seated in the road ahead of you? Obviously I'm talking about the Darien of Kevin Gallagher and the Twin Cam Corolla of Kevin Eves.
Yeah, I think the car certainly is. Whether the driver is or not, I don't know. But, you know, these guys are on a serious pace now. So, you know, I think maybe towards the end of the rally, if we can be there or thereabouts, we'd be very happy. But, you know, to begin with, it's certainly going to be a big challenge on the Friday.
Yeah. And stages that not everybody knows. So was it more of a level playing field, is it, on Friday compared to other years?
Yeah, I suppose it is. You know, it's nice to see new stages. It's a level playing field, but you know, at the same time, the other stages, you know, suit me as well. I've done the rally a lot of times now, and probably know them as well as the local guys. So yeah, looking forward to the Donegal Town stages. It adds a new challenge. Yeah.
Was it always an escort you done? I'm just trying to think back in my head here. You've won on the escort. What else? Did you
the 6R4.
Yeah, that's right. The Metro.
So yeah, I think the problem with the 6R4 was reliability, and you know, we had to make a change to an escort, and you know, we've never looked back.
Yeah, and. What else have you been doing with yourself this year, rallying wise? Because you took the escort to Donegal, but you have been in other cars, so you have.
No, this year has been in the escort. Yeah. You know, I've always found myself jumping between 4-wheel drive cars and the escort, which is quite difficult to adapt. So this year I wanted to stay in the escort more, and you know, really enjoying my rallying. And as I say, especially coming to Ireland, you know, it's a nice challenge, and yeah, really enjoying it.
Just finally, then, what would it mean to you to take on these local boys and beat them again?
I don't know. It's
no pressure.
Yeah, it's going to be a tall order, that one. But you know, as I say, it's a credit to these guys at the front of the national. Serious pace. So yeah, as I say, if we can be there or thereabouts at the end of the rally, I'd be happy. Okay, well, we'll be delighted to see you at the finish ramp on the Sunday. Thanks for joining us, and enjoy your week here in Donegal. You brought the sun with you again this week. Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Give a round of applause for David Bogey. Always one of our welcome visitors to Donegal, 2-time winner of the national, looking to win the two-wheel drive category this year as well. Before we talk to the likes of, who do we have next? Gary Jennings and Callum Devine. We're going to stick the two boys together. We're going to just ask Ronan to come up and grab one of the microphones, and he'll just remind us all here in attendance today that Ronhill Rallying has put this pre-Donegal event together for Letterkenny Community Childcare. The centre has Micah, Ronan's own daughter, is at the childcare centre. So, Ronan, why was it so important to you to put this event together and have the childcare centre involved?
Well, I suppose like there's two aspects to it, really. You know, you look at the Donegal Rally and you look what the amount of people that it brings in, and you know, the great razzmatazz it gives to the town. And I felt really that, you know, it didn't take the family side. You know, there wasn't a family angle for it. I think it's a fantastic event, and to bring the whole family, like they were downstairs today, was fantastic. You know, the joy in their faces, seeing the rally cars, meeting the rally drivers. You know, great opportunity for children at a very early start to see the benefit and the joy of the Donegal Rally. You know, bring it to a wider community. Of course, my own daughter Lottie is at the Letterkenny Community Creche, and a number of weeks ago they had a meeting and they informed us all that basically the creche was going to have to find a new location, and that they needed some major funding for it. And I thought to myself, there's a brilliant opportunity to do some good, you know, bring rally into to new faces, and use it as a vehicle of good, you know.
And you could see the reception that you got today, that everybody was very much getting behind that, Ronan. You're not a man for sitting behind the wheel, but you seem to enjoy this role as team manager. You certainly went in full on this year, innit?
Those who can drive, those who can't sponsor.
Well, listen, well done on a brilliant event today, Ronan, and we're not finished for tonight, so good job.
Thanks, Oisin.
There you go, Ronan Hilferty, team manager of Ronhill Rallying. Okay, up next we're going to call two of the contenders for this year, Callum Devine And also Mr. Gary Jennings. Where's that, guys, if you want to join me up top? There'll be a bit of shadow boxing going on between these two. Gary, of course, two-time winner in 2012 and in 2015. Neil Doherty and Rory Kennedy were his navigators on both those occasions. And Callum Devine is looking to win this for a very first time. Gary, we'll go to you first. The press launch was last week. Are you still as confident now, just under a week out from the start, that you're going to be in the mix in this event come next Sunday?
Yeah, I don't see why not. It's going to be a tough event. I think the new stages on Friday are fantastic, and it's going to leave a very new aspect to the rally, going to 3 completely new stages.
And Callum, on Friday, as we said to David, it could be very much a level playing field for all the guys at the head of the field, given that it's a new route. Yes, Rally Ireland, there was some bits in it in the Harvest maybe a couple of years ago, but how important is it if you're going to lay down a marker on day one?
It's going to be very important, to be fair. New stages on the Friday, which is, it's probably a welcome to you. Obviously, it's new for everybody. I don't know. Did you do it? No?
About 25 years ago.
Yeah.
You were selling nappies and I don't.
So I don't know. So no, it'd be nice. Like I haven't been over the stages yet, so I'll see this week. But no, here.
What do you mean over them? I seen you come up the road yesterday.
You're not going to get away with much here with this man beside you.
Definitely.
I've been taking him long to start.
He says to me, he's building houses in the snow.
I wish you was.
No.
No.
But listen, it didn't go that well for you last year, Donegal. You'll be glad to know Garton's not part of it this year. There was a bale gut in your road. So, Callum, a bit of a learning experience in Donegal for you last year. So you'll be taking that into this year. What's the approach going to be for you? And of course, you're a navigator, Noel, and you're on the R5 that's very much capable of winning here.
Yeah, I think the first approach anyway is get up to speed as quick as possible. Because as I say, there's plenty of guys who's not be hanging about, and at the pace I think in Irish Rally at the minute, you can't really afford to give anybody 10 seconds if you're trying to get into it, So yeah, get up the pace and get a comfortable pace, and then see where we're after the first day anyway. And,
is there any pressure on you? Is there? Normally, when you've got one on the door like Josh Moffat's going to be, there's a wee bit of pressure added to it. But the shackles off for you. There's no pressure at all with you heading into this one, is there?
Not really, to be fair. Well, Josh won the last rally, so the pressure's on him anyway. So it is. But
what about somebody like Matt Edwards that's in the lineup?
Yeah, I would say Matt's going to be the boy to be right at the front, to be honest. He's a bit of experience, obviously, in the polo. And yeah, he's a top-class driver, to be fair. So 3-time British champion, he's nothing to be sniffed at. So
definitely not.
No.
And, a professional driver. And you're going to have this man not too far behind you, do you think?
I'd say, gets up and at it, maybe. Yeah, not be far away.
Gary, what about the car, your own car? You've got the hang of it. You obviously changed it recently, so you did this year. Are you a bit more comfortable in it now?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Because you won the Tourist Bairns, so you did.
Yeah, it was good. I think we just got the car sorted maybe the day before the Tourist Bairns and went well. And yeah, we're going well in Calvin as well. Just unfortunate with a puncture in the last stage, but yeah, it's like everything. It's a new pony and it just takes a bit of time to get used to it. But yeah, technology's a fantastic thing, and it's the car is 6 years younger than my last car, so yeah, it does make a difference.
And the car can be competitive?
I can't see why not. I think Formbo's doing a fantastic job in the World Championship. So I think this week we got a suspension there from the Jim Clark, which he won, so we'll have to test that this week, and we have a couple of different engine maps. So yeah, hey, I wouldn't fault the car. Maybe age might be a thing now with these young boys, but we'll see what happens. But
experience, maybe, Gary, you have it over them young boys. You're a 2-time winner. You know how to manage the 3 days. Yeah,
I think it's strange when you come to rally, I guess, because we done Friday stages this morning, and it was great to make the new notes, and then we went back on to the other stages. It was just quite boring, to tell you the truth, because we've done it for so many years. There's nothing changed except an odd stones going into the ditch. So yeah, the new stages definitely make it.
So it needed a wee injection, did it?
Without a doubt, I think it's fantastic. And I think even looking where service is going to be on Friday, I think that's a fantastic place to have service back on the roads where I used to watch whenever I was a young person watching. To close the main road and have it as a service area would be fantastic.
Gary was probably rallying in Donegal, Callum, and you were running around as only a wee young cub following. Obviously, it was in the family with Dad. What's your earliest memories of Donegal? When did you decide to go, right, Donegal's the place for me to be?
Well, I always grew up watching the likes of Gary and stuff from the ditches. And yeah, it's always a rally we always wanted to come down and watch for every I mine anyway. And then it was the first rally I actually ever did was the juniors back in 2011. So I did first rally, and yeah, it was what an experience it was. So yeah, we kind of
say 2011. Oh, you've done a few now at this stage then.
We done 2011. Then we took a wee bit of a break in a couple of years, and then we went back at it again, the juniors again, and then couple.
How important is it for motorsport, and particularly Donegal, to have a junior category?
I think it is. It's a big challenge to do 3 days for juniors. Just to get everything built up for it. So yeah, it is very important, and I think it's a good for them to for me anyway, to get up to speed and learn notes and stuff. Going after 3 days and you trying to learn notes in the car and everything, it's gonna be quite challenging. So yeah, it's quite important.
What are you looking forward to then next weekend? What's the stage that's going to stand out for you? The one that you look forward to most?
I probably like Nucala and stuff. I like to get over them stages and Atlantic Drive as well. So yeah, look, if we get her that far now, they're all good stages. To be fair, plenty to offer all of them. So we enjoy the whole thing.
What's the big one for you, Gary?
I think they're all big stages. I think Friday's going to be very, very important. And I think we were down there in 09 in Rally Ireland, and I think back then Seamus, Callum's father, was my main sponsor. So it's great to be able to see these young talent comes on now. Like we've watched them from my baby. And did you say when did you do the juniors? 2011.
That was the year before you won it for the first time.
That's right. And remember,
you'd won Group N before that, did you?
Yeah, I think I had. Yeah. But then Seamus had to sponsor the juniors to get Callum and Anthony because no experience.
Listen, hey, it was money well spent, wasn't it, Callum?
That was that's a long time ago, right now.
But listen, I think there's no doubt in saying that if any of these two men standing up here was to be on the winners' podium on Sunday, it would be a very much warm and welcome victory in Donegal. Wouldn't you all agree? Yep. Yeah. So listen, gentlemen, good to see you, and we thank you for coming up and giving us your time today. Obviously outside here with the kids and stuff and cars and different things, and we wish you every success next weekend. We'll see you back at the finish ramp on the Sunday. All right, thanks, man. Give me a round of applause.
Yes, thank you.
Gary Jennings and Callum Devine. Okay, we're going to move swiftly along. We'll get Gary's navigator up here, Rory Kennedy. Come on ahead, Rory, if you want to make your way up. And James Cullen is also here as well. Rory is a 4-time winner of the event. The last time was with Gary in 2015, and James Cullen, as we know, a 2-time winner of the Donegal International. James is a former clerk of the course. I seen a photograph of you, James, and a Sierra, was it? On Facebook this week.
Fantastic Sierra, yeah.
What year was that?
In the days when you could get a self-drive car and come and do the Donegal Rally.
The clerk of the course car was sideways in the hairpin.
No, that's a rumour.
Huh? It's on a photograph. It's I remember a rumour. What year was it? You done clerk of the course. You were competing in the
82 and 83. Someone else it was.
And you were competing before that too, weren't you?
I started out being. I was kind of wondering why you put the two together here.
You started together, didn't you?
I thought it was to do with the hairstyles here.
Yeah.
The colours.
No, they used to have a very, very long history. So you have.
I started in '79. There was much grey hair then, right enough. So
yeah.
That was a big adventure then. Like just to do the Donegal Rally was just something else.
It's like the point I made to Callum about how important it is for the juniors. That's them starting out on their rallying career, and when they come to do Donegal. And you guys were sort of pioneers, so you were back in the 70s, but it was just as important to you. You were starting out in your rallying career.
Well, I wasn't just junior at the time now, but I had to get Rory out of college to do one of the rallies one time, I think. So I had to get down to the principal or was it Father Rafferty was
grab the mic
get a release to go and do the rallies. So
yeah,
that's a while back now.
Yeah. You started out with him then, Rory. That's where it all. Does he take the credit for a lot of the stuff? Does he?
Well, we definitely started out together back in '79 was the first year we did the rally, and we weren't very old back then. We're a bit long in the tooth now, but it's hard to believe even if we started out together as two young cubs. Callum chatted about the junior category, which is entry level for rallying, and it's a progressive sport, so you progress on from there. Back in our day, we just started out, and all we knew was to go flat out. And fair play to James, he had a fantastic talent, which everybody could see throughout the years. He went on to win the rally twice and run the rally 2 years as well, and won quite a few other rallies along the way. So it's a remarkable story, really.
Fantastic memories, James. And obviously we had Vincent Boner and we had Seamus McGettigan won in the event, and then the county was crying out for another Donegal winner, and along came James Cullen. There was a fantastic atmosphere, obviously, in the county at that time when you won it, and we had Rory, of course, and along with Bertie as well. But it was so important to the people of Donegal that their men were able to win this event. And even you could take it right up to with Manus, obviously, in recent years.
No, I think it's all part of a big sporting occasion when you have somebody local that's a player on it, that's a possible winner. Donegal's always had the international stars, which made it what it is from day one. And then they have people locally who could compete against that international level, sort of help the event grow. Like, can you go back to the early days, as someone said about Rory, taking credit for all the things he has learned. There's another man takes credit for that. Just brings memories to mind, is the late James McCannon. As someone said, he was the man responsible for all Rory's success. He taught him everything he knew.
I was mentioned Donegal winners. I can't leave out Declan Boyle and Brian Boyle as well, so I don't want to leave anybody out of the Donegal winners. And obviously Donald was sitting with Manus too.
Well, the first year that Vincent and Seamus won it, like, I was COC, so like, it was that was fantastic. The rally had gone to Bundoran. It was a bit of a down, but we pulled the rally back together again. We got it on a financial footing. Irish Shell came on board, came back to Letterkenny. The atmosphere was fantastic. It was a great event to run for. It was like easy to do when everybody wanted it. And then to crown it off, we had a local winner for the first time, which was like.
And the town stage, the Letterkenny stage was amazing.
The Letterkenny stage, fantastic. Like, that's fantastic memories. Like, when you think on what we have to go through nowadays to run rallies.
Yeah.
And
even Remelton as well. Time you were in the pink car, Remelton.
With Remelton, we used to run Buncrana, but run Letterkenny. Like, the guards reckoned that year with 80,000 people in Letterkenny.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like, you couldn't do it nowadays, obviously, but you know, in the day we got away with it. Fantastic memories. So.
Yeah. Rory, can you get a fifth Donegal one? Is it within your reach this year? Can you be back there at the top?
Well, Oisin, I ask myself that question every morning I wake up, but I feel we've taken a big step forward this season on account of Gary got a new car, a very capable car, and we have a very good team that runs the car. But to win the rally, to win the Donegal, in fact, to win any rally, there's so many things that have to come together and have to happen right from the very start to the very end. And if you look at the different things, like obviously the car, the team, the driver, the co-driver, the tyres, the decision making and all of that, like, but the problem is, I've seen there's half a dozen or 10 other boys the same, look at it the same way. And really, normally the winner of any rally is the driver that loses the least amount of time. So we'll be focusing on that. And, you know, I feel I feel Gary's still very capable of winning. I feel me and him as a team are capable of winning. So, you know, to answer your question, yes, I think we are. But we have a lot of other boys that think the same, so we have a lot to deal with.
Obviously, there's a huge connection with the Memorial Cup named after your dad for the winners, the Jim Kenny Memorial Cup, which obviously is a huge connection with you when you won it, which makes it even more special for you. You've won the rally and you lift the cup that's named after your dad. I know, speaking to you before the last time you won it, you thought that maybe your chance had gone.
Well, that's true, Oisin. Yeah, it was the trophy for winning the rally is the Jim Kennedy Memorial Trophy. It was introduced, I think, in 2005, and there's been some very illustrious winners of this very prestigious trophy through the years, and it's something I'm very proud of, obviously. And I thought my time had passed to win the rally, that we never would have got lifting that cup, but thanks to Gary, and I'm obviously eternally grateful to him for giving me that opportunity that we can come back and win. And personally speaking, it's a very poignant moment, obviously, for me and my family. So, no, delighted to do it, and would love to do it again.
Yeah. James, do you still get the itch, do you? I mean, we were talking to Mr. Chippy one day, so we were about having the itch of still getting into the rally, because you loved your run out in the historics last year on the Sunday down at Rossifena.
I think that was fantastic, like, and thanks to Donna for putting all that together for everybody. It's great to come back and just do an event. You actually go and do a rally without pressure, without expectations, and to enjoy all the good things that's in rallying. And like, I think if someone should be thought about, maybe we could look to do in the future again. Yeah. It was great to see Coleman and Corley, all those cars from that era that I grew up with, and they were my heroes, and they're the guys I went out to watch. And to see those cars actually in action on a stage, I think it's something we should maybe look at, to see can we do that demonstration run thing? And somewhere to put the old boys there with the grey hair at the back of the field.
Listen, you have been racing Donegal along. What's the longest stage in the Donegal Rally, Rory? Knockall, is it?
I think it's Knockall now at 20 Ks. I think the maximum they can run them classic stages now are 20 Ks.
Yeah. But even now for the Donegal International now, there was a time in Donegal when there was 30 plus Ks in stages, isn't that correct? Way back in the day.
Oh, there was for sure. I remember in particular the Loch S stage in Donegal Town the time James and I did it in 21 miles back in the early days, and that was all without notes as well.
Yeah, all without notes. And when you think that the Circuit of Ireland was such a big event and it was run for 5 or 6 days, and that's back to 2. I suppose it's testament to everybody involved in Donegal that we've been able.
It's actually back to 1.
It's back to 1 now. Sorry, it's back to 1. Yeah, it's testament to everybody in Donegal that we've been able to keep this to a 3-day rally, because it's the only one left, and it's been the only one for a very long time.
It's still a unique challenge, like to have that, and organisers now. Rallying has changed a lot as well. Obviously, you have to suit the current cars. You have to suit lots of other regulations and things like that. So it definitely is a credit to everybody to put on the stages that they've done, with maybe the handicaps that they're imposed upon them by the governing body, where sometimes you would wonder what it's all about and why they're there, but they're the people who make the decision. So if it's in the road book, a peddler goes and does the rally, and he or she goes as hard as they possibly can, and nothing has changed. Like, it's still the best rally to win, fantastic rally to win, and it's great stages, and looks like a great weekend. So
yeah. How do you manage this heat, Rory? Because in the old days, you used to put down the window. I don't think there was even helmets at one stage, so there wasn't, and the belts were all different, and you were able to get a wee bit more air flowing through a car. It's not the case now.
Thankfully, we've moved on a wee bit from that, and the safety standards are much more advanced now. Lucky, you just have to try and cope, Oisin, and you get yourself in a good fit condition before the event, and you condition yourself to these sort of things, and then you just hydrate yourself and keep topping up the fuel.
You're fitter now than you ever were. Is that what you're telling me, Rory? Huh? Right. Favourite car that you competed in Donegal, James? You've had a couple of them.
I have a few of them, so it's very, very difficult to pick one. Obviously, your very first car is a big thing. But when you think back, the best car, the ionic car of Irish rallying is a PDA Escort. And you go out and listen to an historic one yet, and it's still fantastic. Great to listen to, great to see.
Yeah.
I think probably when it all boils down to it, it's the Escort. And then possibly the Subaru, the 5551 Impreza.
Yeah.
Did everything it said in the tin. Beautiful car.
Yeah. And you had a fantastic navigator who's no longer with us, and Ellen Morgan as well. She was a vital part in your career, James.
Yeah, and sadly, like, when you look at some of the old photographs we did there recently, there are lots of our fellow competitors and colleagues and people got gone, like, but no, it's lucky enough to have someone of that calibre. Like, it started off fairly good, so had to keep the standard up.
Yeah. Rory, James, sorry, favourite stage? I'll stay with you. Favourite stage of them all?
Anyone you're quickest on is obviously favourite stage.
You weren't quick on all of them, were you?
Not enough of them.
Not enough of them. No, you did a few years now. Rory, favourite stage for you?
Favourite stage, Oisin, for me is probably not one of the classic stages, but it's the Garrigard stage, which runs pretty much from, it's a wee bit different this year, Melton down to Rye Bridge, and from Rye Bridge to Kerrykeel. And for pound for pound, kilometre for kilometre, mile for mile, for me it's the best stage in the rally. It's just the challenge of the road, and the corner. It's such a high speed stage, and all the corners are medium speed as opposed to slow speed or high speed. And it's all about carrying speed and keeping the momentum throughout the stage, and it's just a fantastic challenge for any driver. Yeah.
You've won on a couple of cars, different cars as well. So you have what's the favourite?
I've been at it that long, Oisin, but I have quite a few cars from the Avenger that James and I started out, and the current R5 Fiesta that we're on now. But without a doubt, anyway, for me, my favourite car was the BMW M3. We didn't manage to win the rally in that, but we were second in it in 1990, I think. But for me, that was the favourite. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
You're flat out wrecking, I think, this weekend, yeah? So I'll go.
Well, we have 2 days done there now. So another day to do during the week, guys. So as Gary said, we've done all the regular traditional stages up this way yesterday, and we're down in Ballyshannon and Donegal Town today and working on them.
Okay. Listen, delighted you could join us today. Good to talk to you, James and Rory, and the very best of luck next week.
Could I just say, Oisin, before we finish, fair play to Ronan Hilferty on putting the show together tonight. it's great that we have David Bogey, Eugene Donnelly, Gary, James, myself, John, Mark Elcorn, everybody here today, you know, to support this, and it's a very worthy cause, and I think everybody should get behind the community childcare and offer whatever assistance we can to such a worthy cause.
Okay, Rory, well said. Thank you very much. Rory Kennedy and James Cullen, former winners. Just like to mention a few people that have joined us in the audience tonight, and they've taken their cars with them today as well. Young Sammy Gorman, who won the Mayo Autocross today. So congratulations to young Gorman. Well done. Give him a round of applause. Rhys McElhinney, who was also a winner recently in the Autocross, has joined us. And another of the future stars, Cade Gilchrist, is here tonight as well. He had his money outside. So they are names that you will probably become very familiar with in the future when it comes to rallying and Donegal. Okay, up next, I'm going to ask for a TikTok sensation to join us. Jason McCannon, is he here, is he? Yeah, where are you, Jason? Come on, Jason. Up you come. Still to come, I've got Eugene Donnelly and John O'Donnell is going to be joining us. Take one of the mic. Jason, good to see you.
How are we?
I'm very, very good. That car of yours was looking very well outside this afternoon there.
Fair bit to Bernard. Last minute as usual, but yeah, no looks the part, so.
Yeah, right. Let's get the big question out of the road. How many followers do you have on TikTok?
I think this man can tell you, I don't know.
How many does he have? Do you know?
I think it's 3.2 million. Oh, jeez, no, you're well off, eh?
Huh?
If only. That's maybe the bank account.
Huh? If you got a euro for every follower, you'd be doing all right.
Yeah, 190-ish. So
right. No, very good. Very good. Did you think it would explode like that?
No, definitely not. I suppose we started at the time more for business. It was a good way of getting exposure and stuff, and it snowballed out of nowhere, to be honest with you. It wasn't never the plan initially, so yeah, the last 2 years it'd be mad, and obviously we're sitting here today doing the Dream Rally, so it's mad the journey that has come, you know. This
is going to be your first time to do the Dream Rally, is that right?
Absolutely, yeah. It is, I think I missed it once since I was 3 years old, like, so this is just, it's a mecca, you know.
Yeah. So this is your first year competing?
Yeah, first year, absolutely, yeah.
Right, okay. And see, the last couple of years that you were here, were you doing all the TikTok social media stuff? Were you hashtagging Donegal Rally and doing all that sort of thing?
Trying to, yeah. I suppose like Irish rallying is best, well, for me anyway, personally, it's the best rallying in the world, so if I can try and promote it, I'll always do that. But, you know, to be standing on the ditches for so long and to actually be behind the wheel, you know, it's even doing the recce today, it's unbelievable. Yeah,
what does it take for a young man like you? It's your brother that's sitting on with you, is that right?
Yeah, right,
he's here too. He's down in the corner there. What does it take for young guys like you that are doing Donegal now for the first time? Because obviously there is this huge excitement. It's like Christmas Day for you boys. If you're into rallying, you're coming to do Donegal. But there's an almighty serious amount of work has to be done as well, Jason.
This is it. Like, you know, I suppose the biggest rally we've ever done is the likes of Cav and Amon and single stage rallies, you know, but the likes of this is a different level with the recce and everything that's involved. But no, so even in the recce in itself was so surreal. You're going by corners that you've been standing on for years, and it's to be writing notes to it is, you know, it's totally surreal. It's a dream come true, and I suppose when we get the helmet on, it'll probably become real. But at the minute, it still doesn't feel real. So,
what stages did you recce today?
We done the last 2 days. We got them all done.
Right.
Yeah, we got the most.
Good start. The whole lot done in 2 days.
Trying
Rory Kennedy will be impressed with you. Huh?
I will leave the last run there for next week. Week, but
okay. What was standing out for you? What are you really looking forward to?
I think I was expecting Knock Allen, the likes of that, which are obviously unbelievable. I think Glen for me is just one. Driving that in a van is exciting. I think driving that in a rally car is going to be unbelievable. So that's looking forward to that one.
Oh, good stuff. And obviously, who's running the car for you?
C-Sport, based in Galway.
Yeah, okay.
But the funny thing is, I think 90% of the sponsors on board are all Donegal based, so it's great to get them exposure, you know, so that's what it's all about.
So how are you going to juggle this TikToking and driving a rally car next week?
There'll be no TikToking.
It'll be you have to do something at the end of the day. You'll be doing pre-stuff, you'll be doing end stuff.
If all goes well.
Because we can't have the main man on TikTok and Donegal and him not TikToking. Is that what they call it? TikToking, is it?
I think so.
TikTok.
No, I was called worse, so I don't know. And we get the content together, and end of every day if we can, we'll try and update it. I suppose behind the scenes is the big thing. I think people the views suggest that people seem to enjoy it, so we'll try and keep it that.
That's what we look forward to. Have a really, really super week in Donegal, Jason. Okay, enjoy your first run.
Perfect. Thanks.
Give him a round of applause. Okay, the final duo that we're going to call up is a man who has won on several occasions, 3 to be in fact, Eugene Donnelly, and the man we're going to put alongside him, I'm trying to think what year it was. He was actually the top Donegal driver emanating field with the top Donegal crew. John O'Donnell is going to join us. Come on up too, John. Councillor John O'Donnell. And Eugene Donnelly. 5-time tarmac champion, is that right, Eugene? Yeah.
Well, according to Michael, it's only 4 now.
Grab the microphones there. Gentlemen, have you enjoyed your evening so far?
Absolutely, yeah. It's nice to come out and good weather. Very hot in here, mind you, but yeah, it's nice to come out and support the cause like this here. It's sad that this is why we're here, is for this cause. But yeah, no, good evening, good evening.
Yeah. Do you still get the eyelets for a rally car, do you?
Of course I do, for fuck's sake.
Hey. This has been recorded for a podcast, you know. We can't.
Oh, sorry.
We'll have to beep that out.
Yeah, beep. But of course you do. It's in your blood. It's never going away. I'd say when I'm on my deathbed, I'll want to put my right foot on the throttle, and you know that adrenaline rush. You know, it's like a drug. It's always been there. It's been from I was a child, and I can't see it ever going away. You know. So
I remember you and your brother Charlie in 04. At the end of the last stage in Donegal on the Sunday. It was fantastic scene. So was Eugene. Memories for life.
Absolutely. Well, that's exactly what you say. It's a memory for life. And we've been very fortunate to have fantastic success, and especially here in Donegal. I think the one at the first time, obviously the big controversial one with Andrew Nesbitt in 2004, where we crashed in and tried to kill him. And then after that, to win it in 2005, straight up with no incidents, to win it twice in a row was... We couldn't believe it, like as a team and as a family. It was one of those surreal moments, and I think that's why I jumped on my brother and nearly broke his back at the end of Atlantic Drive that day. But of course, it'll stay with me forever, you know.
Yeah, you won in 08. You won it 3 times. Do you think there was more there? There was possibly more that you could have won, Eugene. You came close a few times.
Look, you know, the main competitor for me was Andrew Nesbitt, and I never beat him. So that's as simple as that, and I'm not afraid to say that. When you came here, he was the man. Came close a couple of times, but I don't really think so. You know, I had the best of it them 8 or 9 years that I rallied, 2003 till 09, I think. You know, I had the best of it. Would there been much more after that there? Well, the head kept saying there was, but I think the talent was starting to get overshadowed by the age, and obviously by the technology as well. It moved on, and it was starting to get to my point. It was getting expensive that I couldn't afford the car that it was needed to win the rally. So, you know, those things combined, I'm happy with my lot, and I don't think I could have won anything after that anyway, you know.
Your favourite car in Donegal? I think you're going to say the Corolla.
Well, I have to because, so I won the rally.
You had a few cars
twice,
before that, but the Corolla is the one that...
The Corolla, obviously, you know, we had the most success with. But like that S12B, or the S12 Subaru that I had, that was just an animal. Like, that'd bite the hand off you. And I remember sitting in it at the start of every start line in Donegal, and I didn't have a great rally that year in 2007 when I did it in that car, but just, you know, sitting on the line, and when the clock went to 0, you know, lifting your foot off the brake and the thing lighting up the road, like there's nothing to beat it, you know. You just put your private parts into your stomach just like that there, you know. It was a great car from the power point of view. The Corolla was more of a, you know, like, it was more like sitting in the armchair, you know. Everything worked for you well, but that old Subaru, she really bit you. Gary would know all about it and mastered driving it really well. And they're just an animal of a car, you know.
Yeah. All WRC machinery we were talking about there. You and John were having a good chat outside about the R5s. So you were, Eugene, very much swaying towards the WRC. What is it annoying you about these R5s? Eugene?
Oh, well, I've drove quite a few of them, and I'm sure anybody that's drove world cars or even Group A cars, there's no torque in them. You know, you get in and you drive up the road, and it's the technology now has left the cars to stop a lot better. The ground corners a lot better. The tire technology has moved on massively. The world car and Group A cars had a bag of torque in them, and when you change gear, you felt yourself being pushed in the seat. And certain times and certain circumstances when you got out of control, the torque helped you to get back in control again. And the few cars that I've drove, I've found them just, you know, there's no buzz in them. You have to be on the edge all the time with them, but there's no snap out of the junction. And maybe the current drivers could tell me differently that I wasn't driving it fast enough, but that was just my opinion. And even when I look on, you know, some of the footage, you look at R5 cars, even in European Championships or World Championships, and you look back at the old footage of Group A cars and World cars, and them coming sideways all the time, and the bang and the crack of the anti-lag, and just the spectacle of the old cars was fantastic, you know.
John, you drove a WRC Subaru. What year was that? Did you finish the top Donegal crew, yourself and Aidan?
Yeah.
You were fourth overall, wasn't it?
2013.
2013, yeah.
2013.
So
No, we
10
ended
years
up
ago.
sixth overall. We were line fourth. We got a puncher in Knockalla. No point claiming fourth when we weren't.
Ah, well, she claimed to fame. You were the top Donegal crew that year, 10 years ago. You drove a WRC car. You're driving an R5 next weekend. How do you compare the two of them?
No, look, I think what Eugene's saying is 100% right, but I suppose driving an R5 now, you need to, there's a whole different style of driving with it. You can get into an S12 Subaru and you can go wild hard, even by just hiring it in a one-day rally, but in an R5, and I've learned that now, this will be my third event in the car, it's all about carrying the speed, it's all about going around corners at the speed that you can't imagine the car can go around, getting the tyre right. And as well as that, I think that bar it's a hairpin and bar it's a square, you're not below third gear in these cars, and there's far better drivers there than me that'll agree with me. Like, you don't go below third gear unless you're coming to turn an actual tight corner, and getting that into your heads takes a lot of getting into the head, but I'm getting there and I'm enjoying it now, so please God we keep her on the road.
Yeah, well, you've went through several different cars because you drove an Escort as well, so you have in your time, John. It's hard to go from the two-wheel, rear-wheel drive Escort, is it, and that sort of thinking into an R5?
It is, and look, anybody that's driven an R5, that's driven an Escort, it's a whole different style of driving. And an Escort, you're doing a lot more work, you're changing a lot more gears. An R5, it's getting your head into a rhythm and getting more comfortable in the car, and you're far more relaxed. And the less gear changing you're doing, the more time you have to actually think about things more, negotiate corners better and stuff like that. And that's what it's all about. That's where you get your time and your speed. And look, it's all proven for me. This is the first time that I've ever had a car for 2 rallies before it, 4 days rallying before the rally. This rally starts normally, I'll be jumping onto a hired car and you don't know what you're getting, and the person you're hiring off, they're busy trying to get other cars ready. But no, we're looking forward to it. Look, we're not going to be anywhere near the boys at the top of the field, but there's one thing I've learned the hard road myself. Donegal's a finishers rally.
So we're getting to the end, so it is. You have a lovely BM, M3 as well, sitting down outside. She came out of Germany. So obviously you're going to have a bite at maybe doing an odd historic one too, are you, at some stage along the way?
Well, I had full intentions to do that, and I bought the car to do that. But actually, when you get the car and you see how good it is, like Matt's, the guy in Germany that builds them there, they're just unbelievable. And you know, sometimes a thing can be too good nearly to go rallying, you think in your head. But look, I would say now, in fairness,
I could say give it to Eugene. He'll take it for you.
No problem.
Huh? You really don't want to take it out. Eugene will take it.
Shine over for you, so.
I would say now, you know yourself, after this rally's over, we'll be heading out over Yarton some evening or take the cobwebs off her, and that'll be then, and we'll be heading for Mall's Gap in November, no doubt, I would say.
Good stuff. We look forward to it. Listen, Eugene, apart from the big celebration the Sunday night, what did you most enjoy about Donegal?
The big celebration Sunday night that usually went on for the following week.
Yeah.
You know, it's the whole atmosphere and the build-up, which as I've all spoke about, and every driver here has said the same thing. You know, the whole build-up to this rally, it's like it really starts in January or February. Everybody starts talking about Donegal. And it doesn't matter where you're at the front of the field or the last car starting a rally. It's the same build-up. It's the same atmosphere. It's the whole gear. And you know, whatever it is about June and Donegal, you know, as you said, or somebody has said it, it's Christmas in Donegal in June. It's just that atmosphere. And the years that we were competing at it, you know, extremely serious. We always took time out to enjoy it, and we always took time out to enjoy the views, the pubs, the grub, the crack, the parties. We did that, and that's where it's very different from any other rally in the country. And you go to Killarney. Killarney has a special attribute as well, but it's not Donegal, and all the rest of them are good rallies, but it's not Donegal.
Does Donegal still hold that same value and merit, top of the tree?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I don't think there's a driver has ever competed on the rally would tell you different. It's just all those things that you've been talking about and the things that I've just said. It just makes it this special event. I mean, I think James Cullen made a comment back there in some interview that it's not only the atmosphere and the bit of crack, but it's the banter and the scandal that goes on around the drivers, and the scandal that goes on in the background, and the stirring of the pot. That all happens here, and it doesn't really happen so much in many other rallies. You know?
Were you big into the mind games, were you, when it came to the Sunday?
Not really, no. Nesbitt was great at that there. And there was a few other drivers very good at it as well, but not really. Paul was the man for that there. I just let him get on with it, and I would get on with me driving. He would sit into the car and tell me what was going on, you know, and the crack. And there's plenty of stories goes about pissing up again doors and one thing and other competitors' cars. So there was always a bit of crack at it, but not really. I didn't bother with the mind games too badly.
There's talk maybe next week with us heat we could be hitting 30 degrees come Friday. How's that going to affect the road conditions? Because there was an event in Sligo recently, in recent years, that was called off due to the heat. How do the crews go about managing their tyres and that sort of thing, Eugene?
Well, again, I remember years ago in the G3 I did the rally and there was temperatures of in the late 20s and we were putting a set of rear tyres on the back of it every stage. And we shouldn't have been. It was illegal to do it at the time, but I'm not afraid to say it. Because we couldn't, we're going to have punctures left, right and centre. It's going to be down to the tyre people. Pirelli and Michelin are going to be here, Cooper are going to be here. It'll be down to them to carry the stock of tyres that are going to be required for the rally. So they'll do their homework before the rally starts. They'll do their homework on the weather, and hopefully they'll be fit to supply all the cars, but certainly the top guys, the correct rubber to put up with.
It's all down to cuts and different things then after that, and how they manage what they've been given to them.
I don't think they get too much into the cuts. Callum and the boys could tell you now. I don't think they want to be cutting too much at their tyres these days. But as I said earlier, technology has come a long, long way. So the tyre guys will be on their ball here for this. Yeah.
John, your favourite stage in Donegal?
Oh,
obviously, there's a couple close to home, so there is.
Yeah, there is indeed. Unfortunately, I suppose my favourite stage, anybody that knows me well knows, is Scarton. Had a good cut through it in 2013 in the Subaru. And I would have to say now in this rally, my favourite stage is definitely like Rory Kennedy, Gary Gort. It's some stage. And look, I know Gary Gort, I know the area, but at the end of the day, you only know a stage so well. I'm not driving that road every day of the week, but it is some stage and there's a lot to give. And I think if you can get the right flow over Gary Gort, you'll put on a good time. And it's the same as Garton. Like back in 13, I was only 0.2 off Sam in it, and I was in an 8 and he was in a 12. So, it's not bad. And it just shows that if you have the right machinery and you're on the right stage, but it also tells you you're not going hard enough on other stages, because you should be doing that in every stage.
Yeah. There's one not too far from you, Cairn Hills, 3 times on the Saturday.
It is, but no, Cairn Hill, I'll tell you the truth.
You had a couple of...
Cairn Hill's been cruel to me. I suppose first in 2009 I broke a half shaft, and in 2010 down Mullaheap. I think a few navigators now have it marked that it's a 3 left or a 4 left at John's corner, so down near the abattoir.
Is that the one where you weren't listening to your navigator?
That's the one where that's the one where me and the navigator, I think, stopped listening maybe about 2 miles up the road and thought I knew it better than everybody in the place. But no, look, and then I suppose in the last year it was cancelled. It wasn't run because Damien was unfortunate and went off, so I didn't get a run through it, So looking forward to this year. Hopefully, please God, we get to the Saturday and get a good run through it. As I say, knowing a stage is one thing, it's an advantage, but it also is a disadvantage. So it's worked both ways for me. Garton's been good to me, Cairn Hill's been bad to me. So,
what was the stages that was good to you, Eugene?
Well, Garton was never ran all the rallies that I've done, but it's the last stage that I have done in Donegal that I got a decent time in 2018, I think it was. I think we might have been 3rd fastest on it that year. Great technical stage, and it has its own, it kind of has its own terrain that's a wee bit different than all the other stages in the county. But Glen, and it wasn't that Glen was my best stage, but it always was a challenge, and I loved it. I just loved it because of the 2 different parts to it, and I tried really, really hard to master that there, but Nesbitt always got me on it. But nevertheless, it was a brilliant stage. It always stuck out in my mind.
Gary, if I'm thinking, was Port Lake?
What about Port Lake?
Yeah, Port Lake. Is that 04 in Port Lake, Roy?
Well, I wouldn't say that was my favourite stage, but I did the most door bashing on that stage. So
well, that's what went nearly 20 years on. Can you maybe tell, for those that are in the audience and the people that's going to be watching this podcast that don't know actually what went on that occasion in the 3rd week in June in 2004?
Well, look, it's the shortened version is we started the rally and led it after the first day, and along came Andrew on the 2nd day and absolutely wiped us on the second part of the Saturday stages. He was probably a minute and 20 or something like that ahead of us starting the 3rd day, and I think Port Lake was the 2nd stage after Glen. We rocked up. We weren't really in a race. Nobody really behind us to catch us, and we couldn't catch him in front. And about 4 or 5 corners in to Port Lake, I arrived on the scene, and the Subaru was sitting blocking the road, 90 degrees. Obviously, he'd spun out somewhere and tried to turn the car, but couldn't get it turned. And when I arrived, I couldn't really get stopped. So I manoeuvred the car well enough to only hit him on the door pillar of the passenger's door, which would have been James's door, the navigator. So the story was after that day that I tried to kill James with the front of the Corolla. But I knew he was trying to still manoeuvre the car back and forward to get it off the road, and there's lots of.
You're just helping him along.
Yeah, I didn't get that far, but there came a gap when he moved the car, and I got through and away. Now I know if I had been him, I'd have done the exact same thing. I'd have been trying to stop the rally or howl the rally up till I got turned and stayed in front of me. Because if he had stayed in front of me and got off the stage, he would only drop 30 seconds to me, so he still would have been leading the rally. Now maybe some of the guys behind us would have passed the two of us time-wise, But I got through, got to the end of the stage, and God love Matt Doherty. He was the COC for the rally, and I have to say, if you all know Matt was a very canny sort of a character, and we were in a flap trying to explain what happened, and very quickly he put me to calm with a few adjectives that I can't say out loud, but in other words, stay in your effing car, shut your mouth and get the service. That was it, like.
But it just shows you, and when you got these young guys on here, but talking about Donegal and a long event that it is, anything can happen on a Sunday.
Absolutely.
So, as Josh Moffat even found out last year, when
absolutely.
Matt's gone off on Atlantic Drive,
Yeah.
this thing ain't over to the very last day. Manus, God rest him, sure that 2016 in Fanage, you will never forget it. The man was in the door handles, him and Donald the whole way around, and to snatch it by just the bare minimum, having been 9 seconds down, wasn't it, going under the 9 down,
well,
going on.
So as the famous saying is, to win a rally by 1 second or a minute, it doesn't matter. You won. Nobody really remembers the gap. It's the one is the one,
That's the one. Okay, so then you're looking forward to next weekend. Eugene, what are you going to be doing?
I'll come down to the rally, maybe supporting or helping a driver out. I don't know yet. I'll see what the story is, but I'll be about the rally somewhere. Yeah.
Do you need any help, John? Are you available?
Oh, listen, hey, if he wants to drive her for a few stages, he's more than welcome.
You better be very careful, John. You don't understand the rally bug's still there.
They'll be saying, what, come over at Ronhill, the snails are not eating the tyres off her.
Well, listen, we'll be talking to both of you guys next week. Thanks for joining us today and for playing your part in this evening. Thanks, John and Eugene. Give a big round of applause.
Thank you.
So there you go. That is it from our pre-Donegal International event. We thank everybody for once again coming here this evening to join us, and well done to Ronan and to all his team who put this event together, and for our guests who joined us here tonight. And if you want more details on, once again, the cause behind this rallying in aid of the Community Childcare Centre, you can go to the Ronhill Rallying Facebook page. All the details are there. And enjoy your rally week in Donegal. We look forward to it. Good evening.